ina ke aloha no e na nai, ai no o nau no me te aloha. Aia I laila ka loko mai ka inui, o nā makamaka ho'okipa aloha. Nani nana I kau I ka hano, nani nana I kau I ka hano. Aloha e, aloha e. Aloha and thank you. I'm very welcome and I'm very happy and privileged to be here with you today. I thought I would open up with a small oli. It talks about the appreciation of hospitality. These words were put together by a very special woman in Hawaii. Her name was Mary Kavena Pukui. And she described was that better? Okay, sorry. And she described when she came to the island of Lanai, one of the things that she felt most important, and that was the hospitality that the people of Lanai offered her. So she honors us and she exalts the people of Lanai through this oli. And I'm very, very happy that when I can go out and I meet new people, and especially when I'm welcomed in a place that's new for me, that the hospitality is an important part of the welcome. And so I share that with you today. My name is Saul Kaho'ohalahala. Can you all say that? Close. Okay. I hope by the end of the election you will be able to say my name very clearly, Mayor Kaho'ohalahala. Thank you. I will begin by telling you a little bit about myself. I am an 8th generation Lanaian. Lanai is my home. My genealogies at this time go back 20 generations. 700 years. That is who I am, and this is where I belong. Lanai has been my home. Maui Nui has been the parts of our home, and I'm very, very happy that I've been able to be nurtured in my home with the people that have spent much of their lives helping me to understand things I never knew when I was younger. But I appreciate now, because in retrospect, they all make sense much more appropriately today than they did 20, 30 years ago. So. I want to talk about a vision and a platform that I am advocating and I am asking you to think about. I am looking forward to a Maui Nui, meaning Lanai, Molokai, Maui, and Kaho'olawe. These hui together to make our islands. We are 4 islands, okay? But in my vision, I would like us to think about a sustainable and a regenerative Maui Nui. So one that is looking forward, because these are times that require us to think about moving forward. We have been complacent in a lot of things. We've had ups and downs and swings, but these times are requiring us to be a little bit more careful in how we move forward. And by that I mean is that, by example, sustainability to me or regenerative means that we should be able to feed our people within Maui Nui. I will let you know that currently the state of Hawaii, through the Department of Agriculture, has announced and made known to us over 2 years ago that the state of Hawaii imports 90% of the food we consume. 90%. That is a value that they've calculated to be, if you add the tourism industry, almost $7 billion annually that we pay to have someone else grow our food so that we might have a lunch today. Hopefully they're taking all our locally grown food, right? Okay, but that to me is a concern. When we have to be the most remote islands in the largest ocean on earth, that we are dependent on 90% of the food we consume by growers elsewhere than Hawaii. So, can we huli this? Can we turn this? And I think if we look at that idea of sustainable, regenerative, food should be a part of that. Can we in fact take a small percentage of that and start growing food locally, supporting locally, eating locally, and if we did only a minor percentage of that, 10% of 7 billion is a $700 million industry. Is that economic generation? I think so. So this is an area that I think we need to start to concentrate on. Maui Nui should lead the way in Hawaii. Molokai has been described often as the bread basket of Hawaii. Perhaps it is now time to implement some of that. Maui has lands itself that can be used for the production of food. We have been a monocrop agricultural community for a long time, but much of what we grow as a monocrop is not for our consumption. Okay. Lanai has been an agricultural island for all the years that I lived there. I even worked in that pineapple fields, picking the pineapple. Today, there's not a single farm that's available that grows food for our consumption. Again, we are very vulnerable. Second, we can't grow food if we don't have good water. So it is important and incumbent as we look forward that the idea of being sustainable also means we must be concerned with how we are regenerating our water as well. Okay. We have been looking at everyone pulling at whatever water we have left. Perhaps one of the areas we should concentrate and think about is what are we doing to help the land to replenish water? Then to me, there is another economic engine where we invest in restoring the forests to the islands that we have that's our home, to allow our islands the ability to regenerate, to recapture, and to restore to us what we need most preciously, and that's our water. So that to me is a part of that combination. And with that source of water, we will be able, hopefully in the long term, be given good quality water that allows us to farm, that allows us to have all the activities and the kinds of homes that have clean, safe drinking water. Renewable energy. That to me is a no-brainer. Hawaii has the most rich resources of renewables. Wind, sun, ocean, every single day. We need to identify that as one of the solutions for our energy needs to help us to be sustainable. We have started off, Kaho'ohalahala is here. We know we can see the windmills, but we're looking at how to make that tangible to the person, to you, to your home. I've asked seniors who are on fixed incomes, how has the windmill helped you? Has it reduced the cost of your electricity in your home? The answer is still no. So how is it that renewables are the direction that we should head in, but it's not having any tangible connection back to the people who needs them the most? So we must find ways, instead of looking at renewables as large corporate kinds of investments, we need to find ways to make it happen so that you, at your home, will be able to get the direct benefit from a renewable, whether it's photovoltaics, whether it's a little bit of wind, that can help you reduce the cost of your energy use within your own hale, your own home. Then to me, sometimes going big is not necessarily better. In this case, perhaps we need to look at smaller units that are more localized, that can help the people directly with their energy. Of course, the public utility would have a different opinion of that, but perhaps that's the direction we must consider if we're going to make renewables meaningful to the people of Maui Nui. It has to be tangible. We have to see that it does help us directly. And to me, these are the areas that we should seek as well. I want to add that in your mission statement, you say that consistently operating within the framework of accountability, transparency, and adherence to the spirit of aloha. I think it's wonderful because we have to be reminded that this is Hawaii. We are the most isolated islands in the largest ocean on Earth. We are the most vulnerable if we're not careful. I want to liken Hawaii to that of the voyaging canoe. I've been very privileged in my life to have been a crew member of Hokulea. And it is this little canoe that when I first saw it in 1975, I didn't even know that that was a Hawaiian vessel. I never learned my own culture growing up in Hawaii. But when I saw this canoe, I asked the question, is that Hawaiian? And they said, absolutely. It was only then that I understood that that is how the Hawaiians came to these islands. As an adult, a young adult, I never thought about that until the canoe came. But that canoe has helped me to go back and rediscover a lot of my own roots. And I want to give to you the olelo no'eau that says, ikawa mamua, as you're heading forward, ikawa mahope. Look back to your past, because in your past may be some of the solutions that are going to help you to steer forward. So look at who we are as islands in the middle of the Pacific, and look at the culture and the heritage that we often acknowledge with the spirit of aloha. Let's find out how much we can to help us move forward. The Hawaiian people have been sustainable. They have produced food in these islands for nearly almost 1 million people for nearly 2,000 years and fed them all in abundance. And we use the term aina momona. They fattened the land. Can we in fact learn from that lesson to decide how we're going to move forward tomorrow? I think so, yes. In the canoe, to make a successful voyage, going across horizons where Columbus even was afraid to go because he said the ocean was flat and they would fall off. Hawaiians went across and took with them not only the navigator who was skilled in understanding celestial wayfinding, but he brought with him a crew of skilled people who could set up shop, set up homes, engineer waterways, and grow food in abundance so that they could survive. Here are the simple lessons that I think we are called upon, if this is truly Hawaii, to look at our source and ikawa mamua, ikawa mahope, look back. And in that, I think that we can find a way to be part of the crew of this voyaging canoe, Maui Island, as well as the voyaging canoe, Lanai Island, as well as the voyaging canoe, Molokai Island, and our sister island here, Kaho'ohalahala, and put in place the navigators, put in place the skilled knowledge, and let's all sail in the direction we must because we are Hawaii. Thank you.